What's up, Taiwan? I'm Louise with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. South Korea's acting president has condemned what he called illegal violence after supporters of the country's impeached president stormed a court building. 9 police officers were injured and nearly 90 people arrested. It's the latest development in a period of political turmoil unseen since South Korea became a democracy in the 1980s. Tens of thousands of South Koreans rallied outside a court in the capital Seoul, where impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol was arguing against his detention, a show of support for the leader, arrested over a failed attempt to impose martial law. But after that court decided to extend the president's arrest warrant, some of the demonstrators broke in, smashing windows and furniture. Police arrested dozens of people. The clash is the latest twist in the country's political crisis, sparked by Yoon's declaration of martial law on December the 3rd that stunned South Koreans and was quickly overturned by lawmakers. They have impeached him, stripping him of his powers as president. But the decision of whether to remove Yoon from office rests with the Constitutional Court. Adding to his problems, Yoon is now being detained on charges of insurrection, an investigation his lawyers say is illegal. They say his actions were legitimate and taken to overcome legislative gridlock. But this is a spiraling crisis. While his brief declaration of martial law appalled many, the fallout is dividing South Korea as Yoon's fight to get his presidential powers back goes on. Eason Pan and Louise for TaiwanPlus. With only hours before President-elect Donald Trump is inaugurated, event organizers say the ceremony will be moved indoors due to cold weather. It's the first time in 40 years that a president will be sworn in inside the Capitol building. And as Leslie Liao now reports, the decision impacts Taiwan's leaders who are set to attend the ceremony.
Frigid conditions in Washington, D.C. are complicating the inauguration of Donald Trump, which is in just a few days' time. Temperatures are expected to drop even more on ceremony day, leading organizers to move the ceremony indoors. Now that means the vast majority of ticket holders, be they high-level delegates or just visitors from around the country, will not be able to attend the inauguration. But organizers have said that they can attend and watch the inauguration on big screens at Capital One Arena, just a few streets down that way. We spoke to a few people who came from far and wide to attend the inauguration to find out what their alternative plans are.
We had tickets. We're going to be right out here, be real close, but hopefully we'll still have a good time while we're here.
We just trust it happened for the best reasons. It was probably going to be pretty cold, so we're just happy to keep everybody safe.
Well, we got 2 tickets from our congressman to go to the inauguration here, but now it's canceled, so it's disappointing.
Taiwan is also being affected by the sudden change in plans. Legislative Speaker Han Kuo-yu of the Kuomintang is leading a delegation of lawmakers here to Washington, D.C. to attend the inauguration. They're expected to arrive Sunday, and they left just before the announcement was made that they will not be able to attend the inauguration inside the Capitol Rotunda. Despite these changes, Han maintains optimism, saying that he will come to D.C. and meet with think tanks and lawmakers as well, so it's not just about the inauguration. Leon Lin, Laurel Stewart, and Leslie Liao in Washington, D.C. for TaiwanPlus.
And stay tuned to TaiwanPlus. We'll be bringing you updates on the inauguration from Washington. With Donald Trump set to begin his second term, thousands of protesters gathered in the U.S. Capitol to march against him. Dubbed the People's March, protesters carried signs criticizing the president-elect's position on issues including the war in Gaza, abortion, LGBTQ+ rights, and climate change. Trump has previously referred to the climate crisis as a scam and hoax.
I mean, really, I don't think it's an understatement to say really everything is at stake. I mean, the climate crisis is really the most pressing and urgent issue of our time. It has been for the past decade. and government after government is unable to tackle it at the scale and speed that's necessary to transform our whole economy, to shift to renewable, like green energy, away from fossil fuels.
The protests on Saturday echoed the Women's March that took place ahead of Trump's first term in 2017, though the number of attendees this year was much lower. TikTok has gone dark in the United States hours before a nationwide ban on the app is set to come into force. Users attempting to access the app are met with a message that reads, "Sorry, TikTok isn't available right now." A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Donald Trump has said he might delay the ban, though. Lawmakers voted last year to block the video hosting app, saying its Chinese links pose a risk to national security. Apple and Google app stores have also removed TikTok. Hamas has given Israel the names of 3 hostages it plans to release as part of a ceasefire deal. That's after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the planned ceasefire would not go ahead until Hamas provided a list of hostages to be freed. Netanyahu made the comments an hour before the ceasefire was due to begin Sunday morning. Hamas was expected to begin releasing hostages within hours of the ceasefire starting. The militant group said the delay in disclosing the names of hostages was due to technical reasons. Hospitals across Taiwan are opening additional facilities to prepare for an expected spike in flu cases. Taiwan's Centers for Disease Control is warning that severe cases could peak over the Lunar New Year holidays when families gather around the country. They reported around 139,000 outpatient and emergency visits for flu-like illness last week, the highest number in the past 10 flu seasons. Doctors are urging people to get influenza and COVID-19 vaccines. Thousands of young migrants who've come to work in Taiwan have become pregnant in recent years. And with little understanding of their rights or support, many find themselves in tough or even dangerous situations. But as John Van Trieste reports, some groups are stepping in to help.
Rini takes to the stage, her infant bundled against her chest. She is one of the more than 800,000 migrant workers in Taiwan hoping to make money to send to relatives back home. But her pregnancy cost her her job and left her adrift in an unfamiliar country.
Namun majikan tetap bersikeras memberhentikan saya karena takut bertanggung jawab jika terjadi sesuatu kepada kehamilan saya.
Her story isn't unique. Pregnant migrant workers have rights, including the health care and maternity leave. But awareness of these rights and employers' willingness to respect them can be spotty. In many cases, new mothers face tough choices with no good options. The heavy debts many workers take on just to get to Taiwan mean going home to give birth would be financially ruinous. And besides, family back home are counting on them. It's a story groups that work for these women have seen countless times.
我们也一直每次都在劝妈妈赶快回去啊，钱怎么样都赚不够，你还是回家要紧。但是他们都说，那他必须一个人养10几口，所以他如果没了工作，他们全家都在饿肚子，所以有时候你也没办法逼他。
But legal or not, these women have been fired for being pregnant. And if they aren't going home, their only option is to disappear, taking illegal jobs under the table. That means not just dropping off the government's radar, but actively hiding from it. The risks are big, and migrant worker advocates say things do go wrong.
失联，你等于中断了所有可能的医疗的一个照顾。我们也接过一些案例，就是那个小孩其实在，因为他没有办法去产检，所以生下来是比较有问题的，或者他在怀孕过程里，他可能有一些像流产啊，还是什么。
This isn't a totally invisible problem. Occasional headline-grabbing cases, like a migrant caregiver's unexpected labor caught on security camera in November, do generate discussion. But there can also be backlash, not because of questions of nationality — Taiwan does not have birthright citizenship — but because of the stretched state of Taiwan's medical resources. Advocates are hoping to change minds, though. This exhibit of photos and stories is one attempt at doing this. A highlight is a "What would you do" story printed on the display, in which visitors are put in the shoes of a fictional pregnant migrant worker. There are no happy endings here. Others are taking action. Organizations like the Garden of Hope Foundation have hotlines with multilingual staff able to give expectant mothers an overview of their rights and other help.
这边是外籍妇幼咨询中心，我们可以服务您什么呢？
And there are groups helping get mothers and children temporary housing and care. The walls of the Harmony Home Association are lined with photos of the 1,100 children it's helped over the years, of whom around 500 are still somewhere in Taiwan. But for some rights advocates, not even this is enough. Some think Taiwan society needs to do more to see these workers as humans.
所以他们并没有一个动能叫做我就是要来台湾怀孕生小孩，就这个根本就不现实。我们没有真正去思考，作为一个人，因为在台湾，他可以出国工作或在台湾工作的这个工人年纪就是大概25岁到45岁，其实他就是一个最劳动力最旺盛，而且的确以女性来说，它是一个最好的生产的年纪。就这样的人，他来到台湾，可是我们其实撇开他其他的需求，我们就是觉得你就只能工作。
Migrant labor's place in Taiwanese society is a fact, and the need will only grow as the population shrinks and ages. The question for organizations trying to provide resources is how to make sure those like expectant mothers don't fall through the cracks. Patrick Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Japanese gaming company Nintendo has revealed its next console. Sandy Chi went to see what gaming fans think about the new device.
Gamers are in for a treat. Japanese video game company Nintendo has announced a follow-up to their Switch console.
The company first launched its Nintendo Switch in 2017, which has become the most popular console in the world. According to the company, over 146 million units have been sold.
我玩 Switch 已经玩大概4年，今年2025的话，当然就5年了。当然也是因为从小就是玩掌机，任天堂掌机起家的。
On Thursday, Nintendo released a preview video of the new version, the Switch 2. Despite the reveal, some players have some doubts about the new device.
传闻来说是比较弱的，就是这点让我比较担心。网上泄露的它的性能应该是总第一模式略低于 PS4， 然后它的桌机模式差不多就是也是低于 PS4 Pro。
But that's all speculation. Nintendo hasn't released the specs for the console yet.
Details, including the pricing, will be announced in early April. Nintendo preview events will be held in cities around the world, allowing people to experience the Switch 2, including here in Taipei. Fu Hong, Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Move over Mudeng, a Taipei Zoo's own pygmy hippo, a Tabo, is set to make his public debut. Tabo arrived from Singapore in November, shortly after Thailand's pygmy hippo Mudeng became a viral sensation. The zoo says Tabo has adjusted well to Taiwan's winter, but that he's had some trouble getting along with other hippos, particularly his female neighbours. Caretakers at the zoo affectionately call him a tang bao or soup dumpling. Visitors can soon catch a glimpse of him in the zoo's African Animals Zone. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we'll play out with sculptures of devils and fairy tale characters from the Ice Art Festival in the Czech Republic. I'm Louise Watt. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Is calling. Louder, brighter and bolder. From the roar of the crowds to the quiet moments of triumph. A year to experience sports at its finest. Grab your tickets, tune in and cheer like never before. Every play counts. Every minute matters. Game on Taiwan.